CFL.
Last time we saw the Tide, they turned their season around under the lights. Tonight, do they continue their momentum, or do the Rebels continue to run away with the league and remain undefeated? Find out tonight between the Arizona Rolltide and the South Phoenix Running Rebel. Game of the Week tonight, presented to you by Cactus Media.
And welcome to Arizona Cactus Football League Game of the Week, Week 4. I am Jesse Burke alongside my host, J.R. Warner, and we are here back at our home, Cortez High School, Phoenix, Arizona. Like I said, Arizona Cactus Football League, Game of the Week. Welcome to the booth, J.R.
Yeah, it was good to be here for another action-packed night of football here between the Rebels and the Tide. This looks to be a very heavy offensive football game between both football teams. Both are very explosive. Got a chance to catch up with Ed Love before the game. He believes that they can spread this Tide football team out and get some throws down the field and really exploit them. Defensively, he looks to try to contain Jake. As we all know, number 12 for the Tide is a very mobile quarterback, can get the ball down the field, and they look to get chase Jake off of his mark all game. Got the chance to catch up with the defensive captain, Tui. He says that that's the game plan, to basically chase Jake off of his mark all game long and see how much running around they can get the kid to do and throwing off of his back foot.
Definitely, and I had a chance to speak to team owner and defensive end Bo Battle of the Tide, and he kept it humble, and he definitely knows the league is writing them off and nobody expects them to win this game, so why not start with the confidence in your own backyard? And these guys have confidence, and these guys think that they can get it done, so that's where it starts. Having a chance to talk to them and understand that they're coming off a bye week, so coming into this game 1-1, they're not only the underdogs, but they're underneath what is a steamrolling bus in the Running Rebels.
Right. And Ed Love believes that he should have a get it started and get after it type of performance today. He thinks his offense is going to get it going. He really expects a big performance today from Renz, his quarterback. He thinks that today's the day that he shows that he can get the ball down the field. He wants to cut back on the interceptions today. And he said Marquise Love, number 17, is back in action after missing basically all of last season. He only got to play in the first game of the season before getting hurt. Now he is back on the field at safety for the Rebels, ready to get after it.
Yeah, and Guy Roderick is back Roderick Taylor is back for the Rebels. I was talking to Renz before the game, and I was asking him, he's definitely somebody that wants everybody to eat, and I was like, who are you feeding first in this game? And he said to him to get back in the mix as he was out last week, so definitely want to feed some hungry mouths, so to speak. And Renz, he let others talk more about him than he does the talking, but he's humble, he's excited, he had his music in, and he's ready for tonight.
Yeah, funny thing about it is when I talked to Coach Austin about the game, he really believes that his front seven can get after it tonight. What he wants to do is chase Renz around. The scouting report that he has on Renz, that he throws off his back foot, similar to what we were saying last week in last week's game of the week, and he thinks that if he chases this guy all over the field today, he'll throw off his back foot. He has a lot of blitz schemes dialed up today to really get after the quarterback, and he believes that he'll be able to get it done. And that's on the offensive end. Jake said that when he looks at this Rebels defense, he's not intimidated. He thinks that they run a 3-4 defense. He thinks that the outside linebackers are going to walk up and kind of get after him a little bit today. And he said he's prepared. Offensive line's been working all week about giving him alleys inside of the pocket. He's ready to step up and deliver some throws down the field. Yeah,
and definitely, as we've spoken throughout Renz's history and his career in the CFL, obviously, like you said, people tend to fill the narrative and say that he's afraid to step in the pocket. He throws on his back foot. He's trying to constantly change that narrative and have faith in his line. Behind that, my guy Corey Washington, guest of AZCFL Intel, behind that star-studded line, he has faith in his guys, and he wants the league to know that, like you were saying, get your defense ready, because I'm going to put the ball where they're at. So right. By all means, I'm expected and excited for tonight's matchup, because we get to prove not necessarily the haters, but just the speakers, right or wrong, right? Will Renz light it up with interceptions for the other team, or will he light it up in the end zone, or the Renz, I like to call it? And as for the Tide, will they continue their momentum on defense, or like you said, big Jake Mortensen put the team on his back and turn the tide himself, so to speak.
Right. Two players that the Tide wants you to keep an eye out for is number 35, Darian Davis, and number 0, Anton. They believe that they're going to have breakout games today. Number 0 is playing wide receiver, and Darian Davis at cornerback. He believes that he'll be able to pick the ball off against Rennes today.
Yeah, and Chris Martin, middle linebacker for the Tide, has made a jersey number, an outfit change, if you will. He's rocking number 20 tonight, so appreciate that. We definitely wanted to get the numbers, the uniforms, the rosters correct. Last week, obviously, there was some musical chairs with the jerseys, and some guys were not accurate, so obviously tried to clean up some of our mistakes from last week, and hopefully we got you guys correct. But in order to call your name, you got to make a play.
Yeah, and I got some score predictions too. Decided to talk to one of the defensive captains too. He asked him what his prediction to the game was. He said it's going to be 3-0 Rebels. That's what he believes is going to happen for the Rebels today. And as far as Jake, I asked Jake, what did you predict the score would be? He said we're going to have more points than them. So the table is set for a hard-fought football game today as we get ready for the coin toss and see which one of these teams will get the ball first.
Sure, and Arizona Rolltide having a red wave tonight, rocking all red with the white buckets. And then a nod to nostalgia that the Rebels rocking their white on yellows was their original colors back in the day. And they are rocking the white on whites with the yellow trim, with the yellow face mask. And we're set for some drippy football here at Cortez High School.
Yes. Jesse, you got a prediction tonight? What do you think is going to happen?
Man, I try to stay neutral, obviously, because I got to call what I see. But I have the Rebels continuing the momentum and entering 4-0 territory. I see the Tide putting some points on the board though, so I don't have a exact score prediction, but I have the Rebels coming out tonight by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think the Tide just might surprise some people today. I think they're going to come out really aggressive, get the ball downfield, and see if they can exploit some issues in the secondary.
It is March Madness season, and that's laced with upsets. So that's why we do this, because we live for the dramatics. We could talk about what could or should or possibly happen, but tonight we'll find out right before our very eyes.
Yes, we will. Can't wait.
Definitely excited to cap off tonight's full day of football. As throughout the day we had some other games. The Thunder taking care of the Bucks. I'm sorry, that was a couple weeks ago. The Thunder played the Demons today.
There you go.
20-0, and there was an unfortunate injury. We hope that the player from the Thunder is doing better. The Owls, man, took care of the Titans, and I was wrong with my upset pick. I had the Titans. They got squashed 46-6. The Phantoms shut out the Bucks, who just can't get things going, 13-0. The Reapers continuing the intel magic, as when I have a player come on, their team wins that very week. 57 to the Tigers 0. We'll get a score for the Silverbacks and Hawks, as they probably just ended their game. Lions and Outlaws are playing at Yonker High School right now, and then the Headhunters took care of the Scorpions 30-0 in the game before this. So we're about to see the kickoff. Game of the week's underway. J.R. Warner, Jesse Burke, here for the call.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this Rebels team comes right off the bat and sets the tone defensively. I predict their front seven again to get after it, abuse this offensive line, and really make Jake run around, the exact thing that Coach Love talked to me about right before the game started today.
As it will be returned, accompanied by a bunch of Rebels, as he wrestles them down inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, really great special teams play there. Everyone stayed in their lanes, got down to the ball very quickly. There was really no room for him to go. I'm sure the Tide special teams coach will be talking to his group of guys about making some blocks before they get to your ball carrier, at least about 5 yards before they get to him.
Having a chance to talk to Ryan Knight, the kicker of the Tide. Obviously the special teams does not get as much love as offense and defense, so you got to definitely, spread the love around. And he was talking about that the game, although it's an overlooked position, oftentimes the game is determined by the special teams. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see what the Tide start off by doing here. In talking to Jake, he believed that they could actually run the football against these guys. And it looks like right off the bat, they're going with a little bit more of a heavier set to come out and see if they can establish the run against the Rebels.
They do have shifty Cheyenne Salam, running back number 2. as he gets the call early, handoff, but it's not effective as he is met by some white jerseys.
Yeah, once again, that defensive line for the Rebels is second to none in the state of Arizona. As you can see, right from the get-go, play is blown up. They try to get to the B gap, and there's nowhere to go with that football. Great play in there by the defensive line.
Is there something about, obviously, when you have a bigger quarterback, a well-known quarterback, is there some sort of a cat and mouse or like a game of chess, knowing that we can't show everything we got with this quarterback early on, so should we see heavy run early in this game?
Definitely. I do believe that it depends on what your overall game plan is. If your game plan is to come out and air the ball out, then by all means, you just got to call it as you see it, run and gun kind of atmosphere. But if your game plan is to draw it out and then kind of see what your quarterback can do late in the game, then I would definitely go that route.
Mortensen over the middle, incomplete. Good route.
Yeah, slant routes from the outside. Looks like he tried to find his X receiver there on a slant. Looks like the slant was kind of ran a little deep. I'm not sure that Jake expected that guy to be 10 yards downfield on a slant route.
Yeah, definitely. You got to imagine early game jitters. These guys have been prepping all week, and then you got to wait patiently for the game of the week, and you see all other guys getting loose, getting dirty, hitting them pads and stuff. So obviously,
Oh, yeah, of course. Pre-game jitters, anxiety. Not only have they been preparing in the practice field, but a lot of these guys know each other. They've been jaw-jacking. They've been talking to each other all week long, ready to get after it tonight and lay it all out there and see which team wins.
Definitely. So third down now early. The Tide are in their own territory, so obviously trying to dig themselves out of the hole. But as we said, plenty of football and a long night in store for us. So.
Not a good situation for the Tide. They don't want to catch themselves in a lot of third down, second and long situations.
As a pitch to Salam is going to be wrestled down. Ineffective, bringing up a fourth down. So the Rebels coming out 3 and out early on defense. Mortensen looking like he's not getting off the field. I doubt they go for it on fourth down here.
I mean, you never know. If you're trying to be aggressive early in the game, if you believe that your offense has an advantage versus defense, you always want to take that opportunity. What I've seen from the Rebels so far defensively, I surely wouldn't be going for it on fourth and long right now. Rebels are flying to the football. They're getting after it. They're getting off their blocks. This would be a punting situation if I had the head coach hat on today.
For sure. And then, keep in mind, you're playing with house money, but, we've seen the flags fly on the penalties, so maybe Jake's just trying to get somebody to jump. I think they're longer than 5 yards out, so I don't think it would be a first down, but let's see if this is just a bluff. And no, they're going for it. So Jake has a man and complete, and it should be enough for a first down, so gutsy call, but hey, you playing with house money when the odds are against you, you got to stack them in your favor. So good play, good call, good completion by Kenny Maddox, number 19 of the Tide.
Great concept ran there with the swing motion out by the running back, creating that flat concept, running a post on the outside and a corner on the inside, and made that safety have to pick and choose which way he wanted to go, and he chose wrong. Gave the outside corner, gave the corner wide receiver wide open out there, about 15 yards downfield, able to catch the ball and get the first down for the Tide. Great play call by the OC.
And great presence by Jake to stand there and get the ball where it needed to be and move the chains. So by all means, the Tide is turning.
I want to point out the offensive line holding up there. A lot of scrutiny on this offensive line not being a hold up for Jake. They did a great job, giving him more than enough time in the pocket to get that ball downfield.
This handoff up the middle, not effective. So far we've seen duck, duck, goose, so to speak. Run, pass, and it's to be expected. Obviously, you can't give everything. You can't spill all your candy, as they say in the sales world. So, obviously, you can't show them everything because the Rebels, not only do they have talent, but they have depth. So, you beat a man deep, you don't know they could, switch out somebody else to get that next assignment.
And I think if the Tide's going to run the ball tonight, their success is not going to be in the B gaps. They are absolutely getting mauled in the B gaps early on in this game. They got to see what they can do in the A and C gaps as they line up here in a split back with twins to the right.
So Mortensen fakes the pitch, throws it complete to Edmund Lane, who created his own lane there.
Great catch by number 0. He's the highlight player of the night for the wide receiving core for the Tide. He looks to have a really good game tonight, and that's a great way to get that kid going tonight.
And unlike his jersey number, he has one more catch than his jersey number suggests. That is 0.
The Tide have 5 touchdowns on the season through the air, and he accumulates for 2 of those 5. So he's one of Jake's favorite targets. He likes to get the ball in one-on-one situations because he believes guys can miss in space.
And if I'm in him, I have marketing opportunities out the wazoo. I'm making T-shirts calling "Stay in my lane," stay in your lane.
Definitely.
So.
And they really like this formation to split back with twins to the left out here, single receiver to the short side. To the far side of the field. They think they got something in here.
Jake throws it left. 24 has the room, breaks the first tackle, and they are getting these sticks moving for another first down. That was running back or tight end 24, Jaleel Gardner.
See, when Jake was talking to me before the game, he said that was something that they would try to exploit. Right now, he says that coming into the game, they see a 3-4 and they like to walk those outside linebackers, creating a 5-2 look, and he believed that they can really attack the flats of that 5-2 look that the Rebels like to give. And that was a great way to do it there by getting that running back out into motion, leaving him one-on-one with the guy on the outside, make one guy miss. He's 15 yards down the field.
So I think there's an early timeout by the Rebels, and obviously very early in this game, but maybe some head scratching going on some early, not knowing what to expect and not seeing what he thought I guess something unfolding what they didn't think to happen.
I mean, one thing's for sure is that the Rebels did not expect the Tide to come out and establish 2 first downs right off the bat. I thought they would think they would have 3 and out, which they almost did if the Tide don't go for it there on 4th down. But kudos to the Tide coming out right from the get-go, doing exactly what they said they'd be able to do against the Rebels, except for in the run game. But they have been able to pass against the Rebels, finding some openings, give us some guys a chances to make some plays in space.
Yeah, and I do want to keep an eye on the matchups that they have Fluker on because Fluke, having a chance to talk to him earlier in the game, he says, "I'm Fluke the God," or Fluke Master the God, because all the other players pray to him. So... or they worship him. So Fluke, I imagine they're going to be moving him around tonight, getting him on their best player. But with the Tide having multiple receivers that can make multiple plays, he's going to be moving around a lot.
Yeah, right now he's lined up over number 3. I would like to see him matched up against number 0 out there on the far side of the field, but we'll see how they adjust as the game goes on.
Kyan Edwards.
Toss to the outside. Ball is fumbled.
Ooh. And the ball is on the ground. And it's still on the ground. It's going to be picked up by the Fluke Master, and he is going to run it in for 6. So with all that being said, all that momentum, all that field territory they were making up, all washed away. With that being said, that's why they call him Fluke Master the God, because he fumbled it up and scored. So, hey, if you talk, that's fine. You got to back it up. And right there, Fluke backed it up. So 6-0 early for the Rebels, and unfortunate turn of events for the Tide as they were creating some motion down the field.
Yeah, it's something about the position of cornerback. I've never met a cornerback in my life that's good at the game and has never ran his mouth. So there's some type of cockiness, a bit of arrogance, if you will, about having to play that position, and rightfully so. A lot of times those guys are one-on-one with some of the best athletes there are, and they're able to make plays. There, Fluke just fortunate to happen to be able to scoop and score there, but unfortunate change of tide, so to speak, for the Tide. They really had some momentum going there, marching the ball about 40 to 50 yards up the field, and then coming up short with the turnover.
Snap, hold, kick. Good. So 7-0 early for the Rebels. So with you having coaching experience, some of those plays were successful. You can't scratch them off the list, right?
Oh no, by all means. That was a great opening first few plays by the Tide. I get right back to the script. One score does not define how we're going to play football tonight.
Okay.
So you get right back to this game plan, right back to what's been successful for you guys, and continue to march that ball down the field and see what you can do against a powerful defense in the Rebels.
Definitely. So, I mean, there's got to have some sort of confidence knowing that they were moving the ball down the field, and it was just the fumbles. So obviously you don't plan for fumbles, so they can get that fixed. Obviously everything else was working.
Yeah, right. I mean, still earlier in the football game. Don't get out of your game plan. Stick to your guns. Whatever they found on film has been working up until this point, except for the miscue there on the handoff. But going forward, you just talk to your boys. So your boys, hey, no more turnovers. Hold on to the ball. Ball security is key. We've already proven we can move the ball against a very good defense. Let's continue to do what's been working for us.
And going back to your idea about Fluke and cornerbacks that don't play the position without talking, they live a career of being told that they're receivers that can't catch. So I imagine, you got to talk back a little bit and say, hey, I got hands,
Yeah, definitely.
So the kick deep into the end zone. That's not going to be returned touchback. So solid kick.
Yeah, either way, they get a little bit better field position than they did on the last kick return. They'll have the ball, I believe, about the 20, 25?
I believe they place it at the 25 here at the CFL level.
About 9 minutes in the game if you are just tuning in. 9 minutes left in the first quarter. So far, Tide had some good things moving. Unfortunate turnover there at the 30-yard line, which created a scoop and score for the cornerback from the Rebels, Eddie Fluker, number 1, has already put up 6 points for the running Rebels.
And that's what's exactly that. Scores don't tell all the stories. So if somebody just tuned in and see a score of 7-0, they're like, oh, it must have been an offensive score. It must have been a touchdown. It's like, no. It was all tied, and then one play by the defense of the Rebels. So.
Split back formation, but now they've got a tight end tight, kind of like a wing back. Heavy backfield for the Tide.
Low snap. They got to get something off the handoff to Shalom.
Rebels doing a really good job closing down the gap. Again, they tried to go a little bit of B gap there again, and they're just not getting any success there. Or maybe the play is being designed for the A gap and it's getting bounced to the B. I'm not exactly sure. Running back did have a cutback lane there. If he was able to turn his head a little bit to the right, might have been able to find an alley. But then again, you never know. That Rebels defense is doing a great job of closing holes very, very fast.
And obviously, you don't know what the condition levels are with the depth of these players. So, you don't know if trying to run the ball, tire these guys down, and then try and air it out, possibly up their sleeve, and kind of their intentions here as Jake looks to throw, but now hands it off to to Jaleel Gardner, tight end. He's playing more of a running back tonight, so.
See, both times that they've tried, 3 times on the toss play that they fumbled, but every time they try to get to that C gap and extend it, they're able to have some success on the running back swing route. Now they run a little bit of off tackle, and they're able to have some success. They might want to try going back to that out of that split back set that they keep that they love running so much.
So, first down now, and the Tide have been on this side of the field before, and they've been able to move the ball. So. Like we said, obviously, if they can keep the ball off the ground.
They got number 0 down below here against Eddie Fluker. See if they try to go one-on-one here. Look like they got a one-on-one matchup. Safety's got to commit to the slot receiver here. Yep.
Jake
throws
it and unable to be caught and brought down by his dreads. Dangerous tackle, but part of the uniform. Cheyenne Salam, the intended receiver, intended ball carrier on the play. The misconception of throwing the ball forward behind the line of scrimmage. It's a forward pass regardless of it being behind the line of scrimmage. Many think because it's behind the line of scrimmage, it's still not a forward pass. It's actually inaccurate. I learned that by reading the rule book.
if it's going forward, it's going forward. Right. Great screen play call there by the Tide, and he had some room to go if he was able to collect that ball and get north as quick as possible. Unfortunate change of events there for him.
So now we got Fluke matched up against Kenny Maddox. So again, they moving him around, musical chairs. As Jake backpedals.
Go back to the screenplay.
To Gardner. And Gardner's meeting the grass early.
Yeah,
no
number 75 just doesn't get to his block there. All he has to do is get to that outside linebacker. He's able to get a seal, and that running back's able to get right up underneath him and get some yardage there. He's just a little slow out of his stance there, which cost him on that one.
Yeah, I mean, when I had Bam Bam Gaither on a new episode of Incel, he was talking about a lot of defense's patience. Guys like to just, they hear the whistle, or I'm sorry, they hear the snap, they just go. But a lot of it, in itself, the positions name what to do. So linebackers, you wait and you back up the line. It's little things like that. But when you go just as fast as the lineman, you're pretty much crashing the hole just like the linemen are. So.
Right. Slot receiver uncovered here by the Rebels. They showed a little bit of this last week in last week's game of the week, but it looks like the safety is man to man here.
As Jake wants to air it out, his guys are covered. He rolls right now, rolling backwards now cuts back left. Throws across his body, and they might call a flag, and they are going to call a flag for pass interference, but it was more of like a over-the-top, something that you'd see in like a a field goal block, jumping over the top type thing. So they're going to call pass interference. He got there before the ball did. And, man, that was not the designed play by Jake, obviously, to run 30 yards backwards and sideways. But, hey, whatever moves the ball forward is, they'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of Jake's game, though. His ability to escape the pocket and make some things happen outside of the pocket. His ability to scramble is second to none in the league. And he just showed it there. His ability to scramble, create a play downfield. Defensive back gets there a little too early. Flags thrown. Now they're 3rd and short versus 3rd and long.
And now we're 5 minutes left in the first, and we are the closest to the Tide getting past midfield. So action-packed with only half of a field being used so far. First fresh set of downs for the Tide.
Tide spreading out the Rebels again here with a 2-by-2 look. Rebels still showing a 3-2 walking down the outside linebackers into a 5-2 look.
Jake throws it left, got a man. Nice snag.
I like the scheme that the Rebels are running defensively. It looks like they're running like a 5-2 hybrid look, but what they're doing is they're walking those outside linebackers down against this 2-by-2 look and then getting them to shoot straight out to the flats after getting hands on the number 2 receiver. That is extremely good defense, especially if they're able to actually get hands, and it's a good disguise. And it makes it hard for a quarterback to read. What are these guys on the outside doing? Are they going to stay and they're going to rush? Or are they going to get to the flats? It just mixes up the looks, and it's going to give Jake and any quarterback for that much a hard time.
Yeah, nice catch by Josh Leveist, number 7. So impressive. I've heard the term alligator arms and, sticking your arm out there. But he definitely saw 2 defenders and played in traffic and made the catch. So shouts to him for putting his body on the line, but also making the play.
Tide spreading him out again in a 2-by-2 look here. Rebels seem to be running the exact same thing on defense, whilst the outside linebackers will shoot out to the flats again if it's a pass.
And now they got Leveist against Fluker. So
they're going this time.
Man. And that is not effective as he is stopped dead in his tracks right at midfield.
They got to get out of that A and B gap. They are having no success in that A and B gap. C gaps and extended for the Tide if they want to make something happen tonight. It's looking really tough in those trenches.
I had a chance to talk to running back from the Rebels, Ian Robinson, and he was saying that, he's been seeing a lot of congestion. And I was telling him, I was like, a lot of these backs have been making their own lane. They're bouncing outside, and we saw that in the Wildcat game ender last week by the Rebels. So
I'm curious to see if they come out and show that look again, throwing Ty in there at quarterback and just direct snapping and the speedster and letting them hit the edge and go.
Yeah, it definitely fooled us and, fooled the defense, and that's what got them to their 3-0 mark, and that's why they're trying to make it 4-0.
3rd and long here. Look for Jake to try to improvise if his first read isn't there right away.
With that, he looked right, throws it, has a man, and he's brought down right before the stick. So good tackle by Fluke. No Fluke there, getting the play done. And that was a nice snag again by Leveist. So as I said, I was like, are they going to be swapping out the guys to go at Fluke? And just that, they've been having every receiver go after him right now. So,
Yeah, so far we've seen them on number 3, 0, 7. So they're mixing up the numbers, mixing up the bodies, trying to give him different looks, going with bigger bodies, smaller bodies, quicker bodies, just basically keeping him on his toes, so he can't, stick his feet in the dirt and make plays on the ball.
Yeah, we got to give love to Dwayne Phillips, cornerback on the other end, number 20. I mean, he, that's respect that they're not throwing at him, right? So.
Yep. 0 and 1, matchup down at the bottom. Keep your eye on that one.
Jake rolls right, throws it, and looks like it's complete to Lane. So Fluke was nowhere to be found on that. Do you think he picked up a different receiver or bit on the collapse, or what happened there?
I believe it was a really good, first of all, really good offensive play call by the Tide there. Last play, the defensive ends got caught rushing upfield, and the offensive coordinator believed he can exploit that, which is why it was a fake handoff, QB keep, or QB boot out to the right. But I think what just happens, they believe Jake was going to take off with the ball, cornerback committed to the run, and Jake was able just to get the ball right over his head into the receiver's hands.
Definitely, and we're entering the 1 minute and a half territory of the first quarter. Keep in mind, it's been a warmer night here in Arizona. Knock on wood, we've seen no cramps, so to speak. In the colder months, these guys are getting locked up and stuff like that. So far, these guys are looking good, looking loose, and we got ourselves a game.
2-by-2 again here. Jake's favorite receiver, number 0, short side of the field. Jake decides to keep it.
Good swat by 20. There's our guard.
I believe that's an
Phillips.
RPO style play here. Jake had an option to either hand it off. If he's got two reads there, what is that outside linebacker doing? If that linebacker stays, he's supposed to hand it off. The linebacker commits to the run. He can keep it. He has the option to throw the slant there and decided to throw the slant, which wasn't a bad look. Just the ball got a little bit behind him.
Wonder if Dwayne Phillips is related to Kenny Phillips. Great Miami University safety.
Mm-hmm.
He was a dog in the NFL. Won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Little fun fact for you.
Every once in a while, that East Coast in you really comes out as a dog.
You know, my dad tried to. My dad was a traveling salesman, so he tried to like dial it down. But my mom, she kept pride in New York. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
And
One safety high look here for the Rebels. 2x2 again. Looks like the Rebels are going to go man across.
And we finally saw the parade of flags flying as there is a false start on the offense. So little excitement as they're, getting to the deep end of the pool, if they will. So you got to imagine their excitement and anticipation is getting to them.
I'm curious to see what the Rebels do defensively here again. Just now, they just showed, they're doing it again. One safety high look against this 2x2. So either you're going to get a man-to-man look here or a cover 3, unless you're throwing a disguise here or a roll type coverage.
And with that being said, it is the end of the first quarter. South Phoenix running Rebels 7, Arizona Rolltide 0. However, the Tide have the ball and they're threatening, moving down the field. Arizona Cactus Football League game of the week 4. I can't believe, man, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, yes.
And we're week 4. So, the weeks are rolling, the season's flowing, and we had a bunch of football earlier today. Some football going on right now. I actually don't know if the Silverbacks and the Hawks have finished. They're still playing right now. And I believe the Lions and Outlaws are probably still in their first quarter, if not second, early in that game as well. We'll make sure to get you guys some scores. Reminder, the Thunder took care of the Demons in the Tucson Territorial Cup, if you will, 20-0. The Owls say who to the Titans? It's 46-6. The Phantoms taking care of the Bucks, who, unfortunately, that's the story of the downside story of the CFL this season has been the Bucks, and they can't get things going right now. You got to imagine with all that talent, they're going to turn things around, but slow and rocky start. They got taken care of by the Phantoms, who we know were definitely going to come into this game hungry as they got beat in a double overtime thriller on Game of the Week. So that was unexpected. And then, man, the Reapers, 57-0 to the Tigers. So just that, they were the Tigers Reapers, the Grim Reapers, if you will. Silverbacks and Hawks, like we said, still playing. Lions and Outlaws still playing. Headhunters took care of the Scorpions 30-0. So a lot of shutouts today, a lot of low scores. And let's see if that continues tonight or if we have a shootout.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just tuning in, it's been kind of a one-sided game in a sense if you think about it. The Tide have kind of had the football all half long up until this point. Unfortunately, they did have a turnover where the Rebels were able to scoop and score, which is why the score to the game is what it is. So split back here for the Tide. Twins to the wide side of the field. Look for that back to go ahead and head out to the flats.
As he's got Gardner, but the ball is down again. And this time they're trying to scoop and smartly just covering it up, but Jake did not see that guy behind him, hit him, and got that ball jarred loose. So back-to-back turnovers. Well, not back-to-back, but back-to-back turnovers in the sense that once the Tide got some momentum, they unfortunately just gave it right back up. So the Rebels defense are doing what they need to be doing in the long term, and the Tide are getting, nickel and dime plays down the field.
So yeah, and I really like what I'm seeing from the Rebels. I mean, just like Coach Love said before the game, they believe that they can get pressure after the quarterback, and they've been doing that. They've been rushing 5 right there with a nice weak side blitz by the outside linebacker, him coming through scot-free, and able to put a nice hit on the quarterback, coughing the ball up.
So Reds now. Number 23, unorthodox quarterback number, but, that's his. So shouts to him for rocking his own brand. As he hands up off the middle.
Nice play up there. Looks like he gained about 3 or 4 yards. Good play right up the A-gap. Looks like a nice little easy inside zone.
Looks like to be number 28, Hakeem Hopkins. He's we have him down as a DB on our roster sheet, so it looks like he's playing a little bit of RB tonight.
Yeah. Over the years, Hakeem has played any skill position you ask him to play, man. He can get it done anywhere you want him to get it done on a football field.
Hakeem the Dream.
Talented kid. First and forever coming up here for the Rebels. Feels like the first time we've actually seen the offense get on the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like that. But, the Rebels rocking their white on whites with the yellow trim. They definitely want to be on the field showing it off as they can as the handoff.
This kid's a real speedster. They look for him to try to get out on the edge a few times this game. I believe that's number 0, Ty. Kid can get out, and he can make it happen on the edges. He was the one who scored the game-winning touchdown last weekend, lining him up at quarterback, running a bit of a wildcat, so to speak, and him able to get to the outside and into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown in the second overtime.
Tyler Ross, man. Anybody with 2 first names is a dangerous person.
That's definitely true. A bad man on a football field, that's for sure.
So, second down now. See if you tend to see this shotgun formation. I think, at least it's rare for me to see the under center, but as Renz throws it, caught, completed, good catch by 0. Again, Tyler Ross, man, showing that dangerous consistency, picking up right where he left off last week. So he can get it done in all places. Wildcat, wide out, and first down. So
yeah, and I love what I'm seeing.
Third down.
You're seeing a coach stay true to form. Before the game, Coach Love said he's going to spread these guys out. He's going to attack these DBs, and that's exactly what he's doing. Lining up in 2x2 or 2x1, spreading them out, and attacking their defensive backs, believing that he's got the better wide receivers.
So 3rd and about 5 now. Handoff to Robinson. And he's going to dance his way to a first down. So trusting the line, trusting the gaps, trusting himself to get the sticks moving. First down, Rebels, as they are now into Tide territory. So the tide is turning, as you said.
Offensive line for the Rebels having a field day up front right now to start for their first offensive drive of the game. They are manhandling the defensive line right now for the Tide. They're having some real success in the trenches, A and B gap. Let's see if they stay after it. Both times they've ran the ball, they've gotten 4 or more yards.
As a handoff now up the middle. Again, kind of backs his way into the extra yardage there. About 3 or 4. I was going to ask you, JR, is there like a little bit of a cheat code? Obviously, like we said, Renz wants to rewrite the narrative that he doesn't throw on his back foot and he could step in the pocket. Is there a little bit of, like I said, a cheat code where you can get some 3, 4, 5-yard passes over the middle, second down, third down, boom, boom, and you're like, what? I'm stepping in the pocket. I'm throwing on my front foot. What's good?
I'm not sure about that. Any type of cheat code, so to speak, will have to be done in the offseason. That's on his footwork, on his pocket presence, things like that. But I'm sure he's conscious of it. I'm sure he's trying to settle himself down in the pocket when he gets a chance and deliver the ball on time.
Definitely. And, he has presence as the handoff up the middle is enough or not enough for a first down. So second down now.
Oh, looks like, yeah, he did get the first down.
Oh, no, it is the first down. So chain gang.
Again, another simple inside zone run for the Rebels. Nothing special. You don't see any guards pulling. You don't see anything, no special motions coming on, no kind of misdirections. They are lining up and going right at the Tide, believing that they have a better O-line than the Tide do have D-line.
Now, handoff to Robinson. He dances to the left. Now cuts it out to the right. And very impressive to stay alive. Looks like his knee hit the ground, but had a good center of gravity to hold his own and reverse field, but actually ended up being a tackle for a loss. So you win some, you lose some. 2nd and, say 11 now? 2nd and 12?
And one thing about the Tide defense is that they really get after the football. If they got one guy to the ball, best believe you're going to see 3, 4, 5, 6 hats to the football. That's one thing they do very well is they got each other's backs out there, and they really swarm to the ball. Shown there as a great example by one guy coming in and missing a tackle, and he was met again by 1, 2, 3 Tide defenders. Look forward to seeing that all game long as there is no quit in this football team.
Yeah, and the last line of defense, tall, strong safety, or free safety, Adam Koshizer. He plays both sides of the ball. He's a deep threat with the receiver. Timeout called by the Rebels, so they want to think things over. Getting back to, I guess, Renz's ability to throw in the pocket on the front foot. Don't want to kill this guy too much because he definitely can get the ball where it needs to be. Something that's definitely impressive about him is, he has the years of experience of being a quarterback in different leagues. And then on top of the, a lot of dudes like to say he's a flag football quarterback. But just like Daniel Smith on Intel, he was saying that this extracurricular activities, it may not count towards your eligibility, but it helps your experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime you're able to put the cleats on and get on the grass, you're getting better. Regardless of the atmosphere, regardless of the league that you're playing in. Anytime you're able to work on your craft, and for Renz, it's always footwork, it's always throwing mechanic, it's always being able to read what the defensive backs are doing, being able to read coverages. Anytime he's able to get on the green grass and do that, he's always bettering himself.
Yeah, and then obviously outside of football, he works as a personal trainer. He's in the gym. So his idea of getting better, even outside of football, is always there. So that has to apply and translate to the football field.
Yeah, definitely. Renz is a gym rat. Works there, works out there. Right,
hangs out there.
Yeah, and he finds time to put the cleats on and get out on the grass when he can to stay active.
Yeah. He's been getting into the cryptocurrencies. You gotta put me on that, man. I'm like, I got $5 to throw down. What's good?
Hook us up, Ren.
What's good? I just wanted to grow. I don't want none of that like depletion stuff, though.
Second and some foreign country in Spain.
Second and Flagstaff.
Just about.
And
2 by 1-on-1 on the outside. Ren
throws it deep. And good coverage by 35 of the Tide. Stride for stride with his man.
And I'm noticing that about the Rebels. That anytime they line up in that 3-by-1 look, it's almost like they're trying to really isolate the single side, not really looking to the trip side a lot unless you're getting, and if they do, you're getting bubbles or hitches. But a lot of times when you get that 3-by-1 look and they got their stud receiver out there one-on-one with anybody, they're like, I'm going to take a shot to this guy now. I guess you could say maybe Renz is calling the play out there because he wants to take a shot.
For sure, and that was Darian Davis, number 35. DD. See, they got marketing opportunities. They got Edmund Lane. They got DD. He could be the DD for the lane.
3-by-1 again. Looks over to the trip side.
Pump fakes. Now throws it over the middle. Red jersey there. Almost intercepted by Davis. So very good play. Very good coordination to stay with his man. Step for step. Renz kind of gave out a little bit of what the intentions were with that pump fake, but eventually it ended up, being a good intended pass, but a better play by the defense.
See, and that's what Coach Austin was talking about before the game. They believe they can chase Renz off of his mark, get him to throw on that back foot. That's the scattering point that everyone seems to have about him. And then he also said, look forward for number 35, Davis, to have a good game as he falls short of that pick right there. So Coach got a good game plan against these Rebels. He thinks he's got a good idea of how they can be effective, at least on the defensive end. Just got to hold on to that ball on the offensive end, and they'll be all right.
And I think we're going to have a call of too many men on the field.
Yep, looks like it.
As the magic number is 11. Anything more will be a flag.
Might not be a bad penalty here. They are kind of close as far as punting is concerned. Back up a little bit. Might have a chance for a coffin corner here.
And just got word the game is final in Prescott. The Silverbacks continue their introduction season with dominance as they take care of the Hawks 14-8. So 4-0 for the Silverbacks. And very impressive as this will be downed around. Oh, no, it's now going to be returned by Davis as he stiff arms a man and is brought down out of bounds. And that's going to be a late hit.
Yeah, that's
so decent return, and it's going to be padded with 15 yards on the personal foul by the Rebels. So turning chicken poo into chicken salad, if you will.
Dangerous but heady play by Davis there. As coaches, we really don't like when a player picks the ball up in that situation, but it works out in his favor here as he was able to get a few more yards with the penalty.
So you being a defensive coach, you being a special teams guy, player, coach, fan, what goes through the brain? Like, do you see nothing but daylight when the ball is just trickling and you're like, man, this is my moment? Or is it just you black out and you just see the ball?
It depends. Different
Yeah.
strokes for different folks. Some guys, if they believe they got the wheels, they're going to pick that ball up and take off. As a coach, you always wish that they just make the smart play. But you don't want to take away your player's ability to make plays. So you say, hey, don't do this. If it goes well, you praise them. If it doesn't go well, you get on them.
All right. That's fair enough.
Tide look like they want to spread out the Rebels here again once we get the play going. Coming out in the trips look already. Trips
So,
to the short side of the field.
We've been seeing this like unique trend that these, while they're in their own territory, they're comfortable. They're able to move the ball. Once they get past midfield,
Yeah.
things are going in the opposite direction. So hopefully they can get this figured out in the second half of the first half, going into the second half of the game.
Yeah, if there was ever a concern about the Tide being able to compete in this football game, I think that's been thrown out the window. They're in this game. They're moving the ball when they're not turning the ball over. So we just got to hopefully as the game goes on, they can continue to move the ball upfield and not continue to have plays like this.
Dangerous play by the Tide as Jake has to just pick it up and try to make something happen as he couldn't. So second down now as the midfield woes continue.
Yeah. Offensive corner's got to kind of figure it out. I think he had something with those screen plays earlier in the game that he tried to run to the halfback. If I was him, I'd try to dial one of those up here, maybe something out to the wide receivers in that trip set. Looks like that far wide receiver might have a little bit of cushion there, about a 5 to 7 yard cushion.
So we've seen some long balls. I feel like they've been after the collapse or more of like a second effort. But I want to see some, I mean, obviously get closer, but I want to see some corner passes, maybe some corner routes,
Oh, yeah.
some fades. We want to see some barbers out here. As there's a flag thrown. Jake is running backwards. Dangerous, loses the ball. And this might be 6 for the Rebels pending the flag on the field. So hold your horses.
It was a very quick flag. They might have an offsides on the Rebels or alignment in the neutral zone.
And if that is the case, then crisis averted. But Jake, something I noticed is he likes to run with the ball with one hand. Something that maybe he needs to secure while he is trying to evade a defender.
Definitely. That you gotta keep two hands on that football when you're trying to escape the pocket. If you're a quarterback, you got defensive ends coming in there swiping at the ball, defensive tackle swiping the ball. You never know, you could bump into your own guy. There's so many variables. He just tried to reverse pivot his feet out there and then put one hand down, and ball got caught on the ground. Now the question is, can the ball cause the fumble in that scenario with the ball being on the ground? It almost looked like he kind of placed it on the ground, so to speak.
Like he was giving himself up almost.
Right, almost.
I got
so
you.
I'm curious to see how they rule this one.
Definitely a lot of faith in the refs to get that call right by Jake. So, but unfortunately, it looks like they're giving the touchdown to the Rebels.
Yeah, looks like it.
So back to back, or I keep saying that, 2 defensive scores by the Rebels after what was momentum by the Tide. So 13-0 late in this second quarter, and the extra point attempt is underway for what is a 2-score game. And the Tide are moving the ball down the field, but then just one mistake cost them everything. So
Yeah, definitely, man. Tide not having good luck so far to start the early parts of this game.
hold, kick, high as can be.
Hell yeah.
And good. So 14-0 Rebels. And like we were saying, this score does not dictate what has been unfolding tonight. It's been all Tide on the ball, on the field. But then the Rebels are picking it up and running with it, no pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, Rebels are a very opportunistic football team, especially on the defensive end. Not the type of team that you want to have too many turnovers against. They got some guys that turn those turnovers into scores, as you guys can see tonight. I don't know. Tide need to figure it out here. They move the ball very well, but it just seems like they just can't get over the hump.
So we got to give props, give our flowers to number 9, the scoop and score. That is Tui Moy. I believe he's defensive captain this week, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So earning that C, earning that 6, and now the Rebels are playing with house money.
Yeah, it's always great, man. It'd be good to be on the offensive side of the ball right now for the Rebels and only being on the field one time, but you're up 2 scores. It's always a great feeling when you don't have to get on the field to score points. And, they're probably feasting because, in their minds, they believe they're going to score some points today. So, in their minds, this is going to end up probably getting a little ugly.
So squib kick now will be returned as he can't get a defender off of his ankle. That was Ivan Romero, number 6.
All right, great shoestring tackle there by the Rebels special teams defender there. Great play.
So, like we said, a little over 7 minutes to go in this half. Running Rebels, running all over the scoreboard on a defensive prowess. The Tide definitely getting the stats, the yardage, and the ball, the stick's moving, but unfortunately the ball gets dropped at some point in that progress and then returned to the house. So.
Yeah, I mean, you probably got about 15 minutes of time possession. You probably got about 70 to 80 yards of total offense compared to their 10 to 15. And you catch yourself down 2 scores. Really tough spot here for the Tide, but if you want to view the glass as half full, they've been able to move the ball very well against this Rebels team. They just got to hold on to the football and not create turnovers on their own.
So a handoff now to Gardner up the middle. And it's flu season, so a lot of congestion on the line, if you will.
But I really would have liked to see the running back put his foot in the dirt there and try to hit that cutback lane there off the left side. Great run, though. Able to pick up a couple yards, but he might have had a little bit more there as the cutback lane was there off the left side of the line.
So going into, like I said, the later half of this half. And the Tide, I mean, as a coach, like I was saying, most of what's working on paper is working. It's just not working on the scoreboard.
Yeah, 2-by-2 look here. Either going to get a man or a cover 3 look. Rebels are really trusting their guys one-on-one here on the outside.
Ooh, Gardner is knocked heavy by the defender and is brought down for, let's say, maybe a gain of 1, if not no gain.
Yeah, right tackle just seemed to get mauled on that play. Really wasn't able to make much of a block. Defensive end able to get around along with the linebacker and just make a very hard hit on the running back there off the outside edge.
So now third and 11 or third and
10.
Third and 10. So Tide, especially Jake, you obviously got to shake that last fumble and have a short memory because they're still in this game. Two scores. It's not a insurmountable comeback. In fact, the Tide were known. One of their great wins last season was they came back against what is now part of the Running Rebels, the Sergeants.
Right.
They came back with 2 scores with less than 4 minutes to go. As the pass by Jake is complete, and that's the type of play they need to get this motivation and this momentum going. And I believe that was Edmund Lane. So staying in his lane and doing his job.
Yeah. And if anybody can shake a bad play off, it's Jake. Jake's a good football player. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He always believes his football team's involved in the football game. There's no quit in this Tide team or in Jake. So they'll get it together here, and my prediction is that they'll get some points up here pretty soon. And before you know it, you got a 1-possession game, and then anything could happen at that point.
So Jake looks right now, airs it out, dangerous passes. There was 3 white jerseys to the 1 Tide player. Intended receiver, I'm trying to see as he walks back to the line. That was 3, so Kion Edwards. So, again, shouts to the Tide for keeping the Rebels guessing, getting the ball to multiple targets. They have a lot of mouths to feed. They have like a 3-headed monster with these receivers, and Jake's, given the fair share. So, obviously, you hear about that in the negative side of things. Some certain person doesn't get enough looks, they don't get enough touches, but it looks like everybody eats here on this Tide team.
Yeah, everyone gets a chance to touch the ball and make a play. What I really like is the chess game that we got going on. The Tide spreading them out, running flood concepts towards just cover 3 or what they believe is a cover 3, and the Rebels mixing it up. Sometimes giving you 2 safeties high, running a cover 4 look. Sometimes running man. Sometimes running cover 3, sending 4. Sometimes sending 3. They're mixing up their looks very well. Got one-on-one on the outside, incomplete.
Yeah, that was a bomb by Jake. So great ball placement, but overthrew his receiver by almost 10 yards. So we definitely see that Jake can throw that thing, man. Yeah. That's no lie. So definitely impressive.
Yeah, when he's able to get his feet set, and he delivers a great ball, second to none in the league. He's very good outside the pocket too, rolling out and being able to make throws on the run.
I gotta get to know him a little bit more. Do you know what high school he played at?
I'm not exactly sure what high school he played on. Maybe some information that we can grab for next
Yeah,
time.
I got to find out.
Sure.
Because he, I mean, obviously, you know, I could see him playing on Saturday afternoons as well.
Yeah, definitely. Talented kid. Trips left bunch. Snug, depending on what offense you're in. One safety high look again for the Rebels.
As Jake looks left, looks right, and he is in trouble. And he is down.
Rebels doing a very good job mixing up their rushes. Stunning threes, stunning fours, stunning on the outside, stunning with their outside linebackers and defensive ends. Really making it difficult for the Tide to be able to pick up these blitzes. They don't know where they're coming from.
Nice play by Alex Williams, number 50, to gobble him up there.
Here, Tide got to find an answer. I talked about those screens a little earlier. I would really like to see them get back to the screens. That's how you beat an over-aggressive defense. You kind of use that aggressiveness against them. You want to get back to the screen game a little bit, maybe run a draw play, something to catch these guys on their heels.
So with that, we've entered the 2-minute warning of the Arizona Cactus Football League Game of the Week. Arizona Rolltide against the South Phoenix Running Rebels. Current score 14. So the Arizona Rolltide 0 in this game of the week. And JR, like I said, we saw a lot of low scores this day and some shutouts. And right now we're continuing the trend.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point in the season where teams are starting to really create their identity, the type of team they're going to be. If they're going to be a heavy defensive football team, if they're going to be a heavy offensive football team. Getting to the point where, I guess this game is a good example, where the mistakes should start to become limited, where you shouldn't see so many high snaps, fumbles, so on and so forth, where some of the top teams in this league really start to create who they're going to be to finish this season.
Definitely. I mean, just like the second half, unfortunately, doesn't always determine, but we see what teams tend to identify themselves if they can play all 4 quarters, and that translates to a season too. Teams have second half momentum, and some teams are hoping to bank on that. So,
with 2 minutes left here in the half, obviously tighter in a passing situation, which kind of plays into the Rebels' hands, but I'm sure Jake does not mind having the chance to air the ball out a bit here.
So now he steps out of the pocket, throws it, has nothing but a white jersey that got his hands on it. So some powerful passes, not the most accurate, but again, where we expect him to get this, reeled in the second half here, as he could be a little flustered. He's been dancing all around, been getting hit. A big difference from the Hawks defense that he played against 2 weeks ago. They're coming off this bye week. He may have, I know in practice he has a red jersey on. Nobody touches him, so this may be the first time somebody put hands on him in a while.
Yeah, and the Rebels are doing exactly what they said they wanted to do. They wanted to pressure him, get him outside of his comfort zone. That's exactly what they're doing. Having a hard time seeing his receivers down the field when you got to run for your life the whole time. Chips right. Flood concept ran here by the Rebels.
Ren's got nothing but time as he's chased out of the pocket, throws it over the middle, and nice completion.
What a pitch. What a catch.
What a catch. These yellow numbers a little bit hard to see off the lights, but I think that was his guy, 18, who that's who he was trying to get more fed tonight. So Roderick Taylor, number 18.
2x2 look here for the Rebels. Wheel concept on the left, wheel in a post route. He goes for the post.
And that is going to be caught shy of the end zone. So impressive pass, impressive catch, bringing his shoulder to the goal line. And the Rebels are in business with 1 minute and 24 seconds left in this half. So the last thing the Tide wanted to do is give up some momentum to the Rebels offense that has been quiet, so to speak, but to no fault of their own.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's a good offense that you're playing against, and it's just unfortunate that you spotted them 14 or two scores to start the game.
Right. Handoff to Ian. Met a red brick wall there, as that's going to come up. Gain of no yards, if not a loss of 1.
Tide competing when it comes to a front seven that can really hit and really plug gaps. Tide are really solid at doing that. You won't see a lot of teams have very much success lining up in I formations or power formations, running the ball right up the gut against them. They're really solid in the trenches.
So 47 seconds left. Timeout called by, I believe, the Rebels. They're talk things over. You know, they're obviously in the world of Madden, you get 21 up 0, you hand the controller over.
Yep.
And, you know, there's man, a 14-point hole opposed to a 21-point hole. I know it's only one score difference, but it's a world of difference, right?
Yeah, it is a world of difference. But if you're on the bad end of that, if you're down 3 scores, you know, you can't think to yourself you're out of the football game. Tide have got some playmakers, you know, so unfortunately, if the Rebels do happen to end up scoring here and they catch themselves down 3 scores, they still believe they can have some success because they got some guys that can make some things happen on the edges.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the emotions get the best of you at times, and you think because you're down 3 scores that, oh, if we score, like, there's no 3-score touchdown, right? So it's just like you got to just one after another, and, you know, that starts with hopefully making a stand here and not putting themselves down 3 scores.
Right. Big possession here for the Rebels, bigger possession here for the Tide. Tide got to get a stop. Can't afford to go down 3 scores going into half.
You know, Renz wants to get this one through the air, but he's also a team player, so he wants them to just get on the board.
Yeah, so they got Ty in again.
As the direct snap, he's going to bounce it to the left, and he's going to be short. He was short.
Not a touchdown.
Oh, no. And they're going to call it for him because the pylon was hit. So he got in there, contested play, and we're now entering a tall order for the Tide as they are now down 20-0 early in this first half.
Man, Ty did a great job there getting the ball, getting out to the outside edge, and not going down, not stretching the ball out to the pylon, and then not being denied, getting into the end zone. Great play there by the Rebels. Great coaching call there by Love in the gang.
So, point extra attempt right now. Snap, hold, kick, good, flag, thrown. So hold your horses. This might be a false start on the offense, which it was. So, reattempt. Nice practice kick by the kicker. But, yeah, we'll have to do it again. So, the kicker's been getting some good action tonight, you know. The extra points have been where they needed to be, and that's complete. But Stefan Speno, as the kick is blocked, and this can be returned for a point, and it could be returned for a point.
Oh, he's going all the way.
And 14 is going to get his own special team score. So let's see what they score this. I believe an extra point return should be 2, right?
Yeah, he'll get 2 points for this. Great play, great heads-up play. Good block by the inside lineman. And way to scoop and score by the guys rushing on the outside.
So, hey, you know, momentum, you get it where you can take it. So, the score will be 20-2.
That was a good block.
Rebels. So, you know, hey, good block. It was assisted by that penalty. So, capitalizing on other people's mistakes, that's what separates smart people from wise people.
True. True.
So you know, we got no bagel tonight. No donut, no zeros.
Yep.
We broke that. So,
you know, that might be just the thing that the Tide need to change the Tide. Like that.
I do like it.
You know, just get any type of score, any kind of momentum shift right now is needed. That scoop and score, hopefully going into halftime. Or maybe they can make something shake here with 41 seconds left going into the half.
Let's see. Maybe it'll be like, oh, yeah, you know, that's our ironic part. You see them score, so you assume they kick it off. But because they score, they get the ball back. So, hey.
Oh, yeah. So they get those 2 points. They get the ball back with 41 seconds left. A chance to see if Jake can make some things happen with his legs and his arm.
And, hey, they, like you said, they get a quick score. They convert 2. They cut the lead in half.
Yes, they
right?
do.
So that's exactly what we were talking about is, you know, not feeling like you're out of this game just because you're without, you know, not within 1 score. So kick off is underway. As it will be returned by Romero as he runs it up the middle. and he's fighting to shake these defenders, and he can't. So valiant effort by Romero, good return. And they will set up shop around the 30-yard line with 31.7 seconds left in this half. I believe the Tide have a couple timeouts left too. So
yeah, they can make something happen here if Jake's able to complete a couple plays, look for a couple flood route concepts, a couple plays to the boundary to see if some guys can make some plays on the edges to get outside, get out of bounds to stop the clock.
I want to remind you guys this game is held at Cortez High School in Phoenix, Arizona. We had thank you to the facilities, Sunny Slope as well as Yonkers. We have some games throughout there. But capping off tonight's game of the week here under the lights at Cortez High School. And thank you to the league for making that possible, as this is a much closer location than the other field.
Trips right here for the Tide. Trips looks like it's on the far side, field side of the field, which is the far side of the field. But they got a tight end attached from the left. Sorry, they changed that. Twins to the right, tight end attached to the left.
Jake looks
Sort of
right,
2x2.
rolls out right, throws it. Ooh, dangerous. There was nothing but a white jersey there, too. So, like you're saying, man, the Rebels, they run. They don't just run the ball, they run to the ball. They fly, man. They're everywhere. And that's exactly what you coach on defense, and it's cool to see it implemented, you know?
Oh, yeah. 11 hats to the football. That's what you want to see at all times. You want to make sure every guy on that side of the ball is where the ball is. If we rally to the football and you guys all make all gang tackle, less big plays will happen.
So, 26 seconds left. 20-2 Rebels.
I look for Rebels to give up a little bit of a cushion here, obviously, with them having to go the length of the field here. I look for the Tide to try to hit a hitch route or something, or out route to catch the ball, see if you can catch somebody one-on-one and get out of bounds.
As a flag is thrown, Jake's got to dance, and he is gobbled up, and they got to call something as he was being dragged down for 10 more yards. And let's see what the flag is.
It might be a holding here against the Tide.
So what's the communication that goes on between the line and the quarterback? I mean, obviously, you don't want to sound redundant and be obvious and say, "Hey guys, I'm not getting as many blocks as I'd like." What's there a way to motivate without sounding like,
Right now, in game, there really isn't much communication. It's the center's job to communicate to the rest of the offensive line, and the quarterback's kind of saying what he sees, maybe changing the direction of the play, maybe trying to get them in a different play. But they're not having much of an interaction. Now that we're going into halftime, they'll sit down and they'll have a chat.
And with that, I mean, you would think they were going to try and get something off, but we've seen too much dangerous with the conversions on defense for the Rebels, so they played it safe and went into half with at least stopping the bleeding a little bit, 20-2 in this game of the week. Arizona Rolltide versus Running Rebels. JR Warner, Jesse Burke here for your game of the week. So, JR, you coach, you played, you study. What do you think is going on in the locker rooms on both teams? Obviously, one team can continue what they're doing and they'll win, and then one team needs to turn something around.
See, as far as the Rebels, they believe that they got the Tide right where they want them. They're playing right into their game plan, exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to come in here. They wanted to get some pressure on the Jake. They're doing that. They're creating sacks and creating turnovers. They're really getting after it. Offense for the Rebels really only been on the field 2 times. So first time they kind of got a first down and they stalled out. Second time they marched right down the field and got a score. So on the Rebels sideline, you're thinking we can do whatever we want, just settle down and continue to play our football game. As for the Tide, there's some positives for the Tide. They've been able to move the ball up and down the field as they've wanted to, whether it's in the slant game. They've had some success running the ball on the outside edges in the C gap and extended. But you got to limit the turnovers. They can't continue to cough the ball up and get the ball back to this Rebels team, who's obviously very opportunistic and turns turnovers into scores.
So, I mean, what's not broken, why fix it type thing. So, obviously, the Rebels, they can kind of just sit on their fortune and hope the time just, the time just rolls and, like you said, exit this game. But then, that's more of a settling mentality. These guys are winners. So Coach Love, obviously, he wants to step on the gas pedal. I imagine he wants this score to double by the end of this game. So Nobody's pinning their tails back and kind of, resting on their laurels. I'm expecting full emotion and full force by both teams in the second half.
Yeah, for the Tide, two things are going to happen. Either it's going to get better or it's going to get worse. So come out this half and let it all hang out there.
And I think the Rebels get the ball in the second half, though.
I do believe so, yes. The Tide started the game with the ball.
So the unfortunate part is you have faith in your defense, which have been, they've been holding their own, so to speak, right now. And I don't know if this is much of the Rebels not being able to stay on the field, but they, they don't want to put themselves in a hole. But then we don't know. We could see some trickery from Ryan Knight, their kicker, maybe an onside kick coming into the half, change things up. We saw that in the Super Bowl with the Saints many years ago.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. When you're trying to change the momentum to a game, anything is possible. You just want to try to make it happen.
Definitely. So as we get closer to the second half, both teams are going to, write down the things that went right, scratch off the things that went wrong, and kind of meddle in between. As for the action, it's consistent. They're definitely getting plays off, and they're getting their key players fed, and we're seeing a spread of, an even spread. And, we're seeing the ball between Kenyon and Josh, and we're seeing Gardner being thrown around from tight end to running back. So we're seeing a lot of movement, but it's just not, adding to the score they would want it to be.
Yeah, great offensive scheme right now for the Tide. Just unfortunate that they're not able to move the ball and get some points up. Like I said, turnovers have been their Achilles heel. We're looking forward to them coming out the second half, limiting the turnovers, continuing to move the ball down the field, and turning this into a football game.
Definitely. So with that being said, we have about 10 minutes left in the half. We will let you guys catch up on some football from earlier today, and we will be back for the second half of the Arizona Cactus Football League Game of the Week. And welcome back to the second half of the Arizona Cactus Football League Game of the Week. I am Jesse Burke alongside J.R. Warner for here. Like I said, Arizona Rolltide versus the South Phoenix Running Rebels.
Yeah, man. I got a chance to catch up with Ed Love at halftime and try to pick his brain a little bit, see what he was thinking about his football team. And at the end of the day, he believes that they have whatever they want to have out here. He had some young, experienced guys playing on the outside edges for him, which gave up a couple big runs in the run game for the Tide. He believes that those guys settled down and now are starting to play Rebels football. As for Coach Austin, had a few choice words for his team. He's not very happy with the way they've been playing, to say the least, right now. He hopes that his guys settle down, stop a little bit of the talking back and forth, and start playing Tide-type football.
And for a man that is always smiling, I didn't see a smile on his face, so I actually didn't approach him. So shouts to you for having that, confidence, as I was able to catch up with quarterback Jake Mortensen, also not smiling. I told him, stay in there, man. You still got a second half. Trust your line. And, he smirked a little bit when I said that, and he says, I'm trying, man. So maybe a little friction with him, but let's see if they can turn the tide.
At the end of the day, he's a competitor. So I look for Jake to come out here when the Tide get the chance to get the ball and make some things happen for us.
As this ball is going to trickle to the back of the end zone, and the front of the end zone, and he's going to bring it out. Dangerous return by the Fluke Master.
Not a smart play. I am sure a special teams coach for the Rebels will have a conversation with Mr. Fluke.
So, obviously, I imagine there's some. You can earn some, I guess, like margin of error once you put up a defensive score. Obviously, you can earn some talking to.
I mean, coaches won't admit it, but I mean, there's some guys that are allowed to do just a little bit more than other guys in certain situations.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't work out in your favor, you gotta be willing to hear what's coming with it. So I'm sure Fluke's over there getting an airful. He'll bounce back, go back out there, and make a play in a positive note for his team.
For sure. So now the Rebels, who started. The first half was all Rebels. They're starting off the second half with the ball and trying to continue this momentum. Keep in mind the score is 20-2 right now, as their extra point attempt was blocked and returned for 2 by the Tide. So their only score of the night.
Look for this to be a run here.
As that is handoff up the middle. And if he can get in the second gear, and he was brought down by, I'd say, right by the 40-yard line. And that was a good run by number 3 of the Rebels. That was DeAndre Moore Young.
Yeah, Coach Lowe believes that his team can run the football against this front seven for the Tide. At halftime, one of the things that he said is, we're going to run the football the second half. We're up 3 scores, and we're going to really establish ourselves and show the rest of the league what we can do in the run game. So right there, really great run by his running back, number 3, and I'm sure that the Rebels will get right back to it here.
And I was able to catch some of the Lions Outlaw game. I believe the score right now is 14-6 Lions.
Good game.
Runs up the middle again. So
Looked like a play side power there. Really good play call. Managed to pick up 3 or 4 yards. She was about maybe 1 block away from being able to spring another big one there.
So with that, like you're saying, Ed Love so far saying he's gonna put it on the ball, put it on the ground, and when you're up by more than 2 scores and you want to grind the clock, why not? When the only thing getting in your way of this W is the time itself.
See, and that's the thing. It's like kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to get out of your game plan, so to speak. But when you believe that you can run the game and you're up 3 scores, you give your team a chance to work on some other things that you guys have been doing in practice. Now you get live action to do it.
As the snap is low and Renz has to pick it up, snow cone it, if you will, and get it off to DeAndre. So nice crisis averted play.
Yeah, run game very important for the Rebels to get established here as they continue out throughout the season. They're going to be playing against some really tough football teams with really good front sevens here towards the middle and end of the football season, and especially going into the playoffs. So using a game like this, up 3 scores, second half, 12 minutes left in the third quarter, to establish the run game, get a chance to have your O-line go against live action as guys are flying to the football trying to get after it.
Definitely. And then, I imagine at what point in the game, if you feel like you have a handle on things, does the game start becoming like a practice for next week? As the pass to the right is complete, and he stays alive, getting past the first defender, past midfield, around the 40, I'd say 44-yard line.
Yeah, right around the 44. I mean, to answer your question, it's simple. I wouldn't say practice, right? Because this is a live game situation. But what you want to see your team do in these situations is execute. You're all about execution. Run what we run what we know how to run, and let's execute against a team that we believe that we should be executing against. And that's exactly what we're trying. That's exactly what Ed wants to see here in the second half from his guys.
So another handoff. Now he cuts it out left, and he's now running horizontally.
Great pursuit by number
as he
11
is
there.
suplexed
Great
down
pursuit.
by Coach Heiser. Strong tackle, man. You got to imagine that's some frustration pent up, as he's a tackle for a loss.
That's the thing about when you try to bounce a play that's designed to go inside to the outside. There's usually no one out there to help you out. So he got caught in a situation where he's one-on-one with a guy who's got a really good, took a really great pursuit angle, and he wasn't able to miss a tackle to get upfield. I'm sure it's second and long here. I'm sure Ed's going to try to ear it out a little bit. They ran a bit of a flood concept last time. I'm looking forward to the same thing towards the wide side of the field.
And with that, I mean, you got to imagine Renz wants to get his yardage off, get some stats on it, and, maybe throw a couple daggers. But, it's showing blitz now as Renz, with that being said, airs it out, has a man. Good ball deflection as he got a hand on there and broke up the play. Good interference, or not interference, but good disruption by cornerback Andre Goodman. So good play, Goodman.
I'd have really loved to see Renz again step into that throw, deliver that ball down the field, lead his receiver. Renz has got a really solid arm. He can launch the ball down the field with the best of them. Again, hate to see underthrown balls from a guy who's got that kind of throwing power. Step up in the pocket, get your feet set, deliver the ball down the field to your receiver in stride on the seam route.
And, with that, the ball did hang up there a little bit longer, giving the defender time to adjust, and game of inches, right?
Yeah, definitely. If he sets his feet there, sets up in the pocket, delivers that ball with some confidence, he might have a touchdown there.
So third down now. Third and long for the Rebels as Renz now backpedals, looks right, looks left, goes through his progressions, airs it out, has a man deep, and that's going to be 6.
And that's the difference. He's able to set his feet. He got a little antsy at first.
It was just shy of the end zone, so they're actually going to call it first and goal. Amazing catch by 17. Sorry to cut you off there, Joe.
No worries at all. I mean, that's just the difference. That's what I'm talking about. He got a little antsy in the pocket at first. He was getting ready to escape. He had no reason to escape. He settled back down to the pocket and delivered the ball down the field. Yes, it was a little underthrown, but he got just enough on it to get it to the receiver who had a guy beat by about 3 or 4 yards. So great pitch and catch by Renz.
And I believe that was number 17, Marquise Love, who is a son of Ed Love. I learned that tonight. So
and Ed did say that his son would have a breakout day today. So there's one. He gets it done at receiver, and then he also plays safety on the defensive end. Look for that name to be called a little bit here in the second half with Jake being forced to air the ball out.
Definitely. I'm sure he loves to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
So first and goal now. So Ren's getting his love. The Rebels are getting their respect on all sides of the ball, and they're in business. So, obviously too soon to hit the panic alarm here, but if I'm the Tide, I'm making a stand. As the quarterback in that Wildcat formation's dancing around.
There you go. I think that was a direct handoff, direct snap to Ty again, Tyler Ross.
Right. So they're getting him moved around, and often they're getting him moved around and provided plenty of opportunities to get where he needs to be. And yeah, if he can do it behind the center, or behind the snap, in the open field, in the flats, doesn't matter where he can get it done, he gets it done.
Yeah, it's just he's one of those guys that's got a lot of foot speed, man. He can run with the best of them in the league. So anytime he's got a little bit of space, it goes become a huge play. And that's the threat about putting a guy like that in the back foot at quarterback and giving himself an extra blocker in front of him with the running back and seeing what type of space he could find and create.
So with short yardage, my guy Ian Robinson looks like he's lined up as receiver.
Yeah, over there's a wideout.
And now he's going in motion. As the direct handoff, he takes it outside. He's met by, and he makes the move that he needed to make to cut by 3 defenders, but he was tackled or pushed out of bounds right shy of the stick of the pylon. So fancy footwork. He said, "May I have this dance?" And 3 of them accepted. So
yeah, I mean, great move by the kid. But again, as I mentioned earlier, the Tide is very good at swarming the football. So although you make one guy miss, you've got to make 2, 3, 4 guys miss. And Tide did a good job there, being able to force him to get out of bounds, saving a touchdown.
Yeah, it looked like it was like 4 red corners in a room, and he was just trying to dance around them. Mm-hmm. So impressive play, second down, as we're already already halfway through the third quarter. Direct snap. And there's a Tide player down, slow to get up.
A touchdown.
And we have, with that being said, a touchdown. So now 6 more points for the Rebels, 26-2, as the score now has been added from the offensive side of things, as the first 2 were all defense.
Yeah, Rebels kind of starting to turn this into a bit of bully ball. Kind of starting to manhandle the trenches a little bit as they got the run game established. They finish it with the run, have a big run, big pitch and catch by Renz, by airing it out after running the ball 3 or 4 times first on the ground, and really starting to control the trenches, really starting to control this game. Now up 4 scores. Really tall task to climb here now for the Tide.
So snap, hold, kick is good. So great special teams performance tonight by both teams. And that being said, it is now 27-2, getting a little out of hand, or maybe a little out of the grasp from the Tide. But with that being said, plenty of time here in this game of the week. A little over 8 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah, and what you're really looking for here as a coach is you want to check your guys' body language if you're the Tide. You're over there, you're looking at your guys, looking at who's eager to get back on the field. Who's still here wants to play football. At the end of the day, it is 4 scores. Yes, it is a tall task to climb, but if you believe you got the talent, and I know the Tide do, they can definitely make this happen. You just got to band together, become one, and finish this game strong. That's all they got to do.
Obviously you want to make sure everyone's healthy, gives it their all, but also survives to see another week and know that it's a long season. I mean, the Tide are 1-1 on the season. We're still early in the season, and they've shown that they're able to play. But it's also a real test. I mean, their first week they lost to the Outlaws, and then the Hawks would be known as a softer team in the league. So this is a real test. If they want to be considered one of these top dog teams, they gotta be able to dance with these guys.
And at the end of the day, yes, they are talented, but they are young. So with every game like this where you're playing against a team like the Rebels who are talented, yes, but they're also a veteran group of guys. They've been in this type of spotlight before, game of the week, heavily anticipated game. They've been here, done that kind of group of guys. So as for the Tide, they're young in a sense. It looks they kind of get the deer in the headlight kind of feel from them right now. But settle down, finish this quarter strong, go into the fourth quarter, give yourselves a chance. It comes down to this drive right here for them. They just got to figure out a way to get some points up on the board. They should be okay.
Definitely. I mean, Bo Battle, team owner, he was saying that the offensive line is young. They're the average age is around 22 to 24. So young guys, especially in the trenches, and that's where the games are won or lost for sure. So now Romeo in motion. Jake looking left, throws left. Has a man complete right at the sticks.
They've had some success with those hitches and hooks to the outside here. Look for, I would say, to set that hitch up a couple times, maybe a hitch and go. See if you can get that corner to bite, and then see if you can get 7 points up on the board.
And that was Coach Heiser. Like I said, he plays both sides of the ball. He's trying to get his name out there and try to help his team any way he can.
Mm-hmm.
Jake looks left, now looks right, and escapes, and is now dancing to the right, throws it. Dangerous pass right over the intended receiver, Kyon Edwards. Jake's getting a little flustered on the run, man. Obviously, he's got a tall order. These are fast, strong, big dudes coming at him.
Yeah, and I mean, offensive line isn't helping him out right now. I mean, they're not really sustaining a block. He's not really having enough time to set his feet, look downfield. And it's not out of Jake's character to scramble. So, I mean, what I'm seeing isn't out of his character, but I would really like to see the offensive line give him a couple more seconds here. But this front seven, like I said, this defensive line, linebacker core for the Rebels are very good. They're fast, they're powerful, and they do get after it.
So, throw over the middle, incomplete, a little bit tall for his receiver. I mean, some of his receivers are tall, they're up there, but Jake being a taller guy, I mean, I keep taking it to the Giants, but there was a year when Eli Manning's receivers, the tallest one was like 6'2" or something, and he's 6'6", so he's throwing downwards, right? Is there a little bit of a different dynamic when you're trying to hit a player in his chest between the numbers, and his numbers are shorter?
Well, in a sense, I think that the taller quarterbacks would, in the sense, have an advantage as they can make a downward throw. It'd be the shorter quarterbacks who have to look over the offensive line and try to fit it in behind the offensive line that would have an issue with it, like a Kyler Murray type or something.
That's
like that.
fair.
Jake scrambles out to the outside right here. Does a great job keeping his eyes downfield.
And throws it just outside of reach of Kyon Edwards. So definitely I saw them talking at half, trying to get on the same page as there's a flag down, and Rebels are pointing to the Tide. Looks like it's going to be declined.
An ineligible receiver downfield.
So declined, as now the Tide are third and
about 10 or 9.
And now the refs are discussing something, maybe ineligible man, and then personal foul, face mask. On the Rebels. So
offsetting penalties.
That will offset, and that will bring up a third down. So
penalty and penalty, they cancel, so it means nothing. Move on. It's basically
it's
what
like
it comes
adding
down to.
negative numbers.
Right.
They cancel out, So.
Third and long here. I look for the Rebels to really pin their ears back here and get after Jake. They're not going to give him any time in the pocket, just like they've not been doing all game long. I look for him to send 5 or more.
Jake's obviously has good connection with his receivers, but as long as like you said, his line can give him some time, then as the snap is low, steps in the pocket. Now he has to dip out of there, and he can't, as he's brought down. And with that being said, he's given no time.
None. They're getting there with the 4-man rush at this point. They got to make something happen here. Something's got to shake, especially on that left side of the line. That left tackle, left guard area seems to be almost a field day.
Nice play by Dylan Alderman, number 14. Like I was saying, man, a lot of responsibility comes with that jersey number, So, like to see he's upholding the prestige that is 14.
I think it may be 4th down here. 4th and long.
The refs are discussing something, or the Rebels now want to talk it over. So, yeah, a lot of action-packed football today. Some shutouts, some scorching beatings by the hands of the Reapers, 57-0, man. It's like a basketball score just by one team.
Yeah, Reapers another team, man. Young team, still trying to find their identity, still trying to find their way. Of course, a win like today helps, But Tyler over there, he's got a good, solid group of talent. They're getting better year by year. Bold predictions that they might make the playoffs this year. So they've got a talented group. They're getting better week by week, as shown today, getting a big W.
Yeah, and shouts to Tyler. He makes it known that the team is more than just a football team. They do community service. Yep. They, stay well involved with community service and things along the lines of their, Avondale. They take pride in that. Tonight was the battle for Avondale against the Avondale Tigers, and there was some of that tonight between the Tucson Thunder and the Desert Demons, the Tucson team. So I'm seeing some inner rivalries within the league.
Tide here going for it on 4th and long. It's about 4th and about 15. A 2-by-1 tight end attach on the right side, single side receiver.
Jake looking right, throws it right behind Gardner, who just had to get a hand on it. Good play to then turn it into a defender and kind of bat it down to not keep it alive, as we know the Rebels are able to get their hands on a ball if stays up there too long. And with that, I believe it's a turnover on downs. So now, fortunate gift for the Rebels. Unfortunate chain of events for the Tide. And now the Rebels, with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third, they want to continue the hurt.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate there. I would have really liked to see a throw at the sticks, even if the running back catches the ball, it doesn't look like he'll get much. A throw at the sticks is would have been ideal there, but come up short, and the Rebels look to start the possession off with a run on the ground again.
Right, so now they see the clock as their bigger opponent than the Tide, so they're going after that. And why, if you're not getting stopped, why stop that? As the Tide player is slow to get up. Looks like a cramp. Maybe I spoke too soon about the cramps. The temperatures are dropping here later in the night.
Yeah, and as this game goes on, with that Rebels offensive line starting to lean on that defensive line of the Tide, you might find a few more cramps and a few more injuries as that defense is now starting to catch themselves on the field more and more as we head towards the fourth quarter and the end of this game.
Yeah, and it's a big chain of events from the first half because we made it seem like we didn't even see the Rebels offense at all, right? And now it's like we haven't seen them get off the field.
Yeah.
And now the hand up as flags are flying. Ian wanted 6 on that one, obviously.
Possibly a false start here. Yep, looks like it.
So, false start. Moving back 5 yards. And they will bring up 2nd and 15. Or no, 2nd and 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2nd and 7. So.
Possibly a rollout here for Reds. I've been asking for that for, I feel like, 2 weeks now. Some sort of rollout where he can actually move his feet outside of the pocket and then set his feet and deliver the ball. But 2nd and long here, I'm looking for some sort of pass.
Well, and he got the defense to jump as saving grace as that snap was off his fingertips.
Yep.
Too much popcorn at halftime, Renz. His fingers are buttery.
Imagine taking the time to have some popcorn while you're in a football game at halftime.
Terrell Owens did it, right? After a touchdown?
Not everybody's Terrell Owens.
Not true. Touche. What about, was it Joe Horn? We took the Sharpie out of his... No, the cell phone. He took the cell phone out of his sock. Terrell Owens was the Sharpie. He took the Sharpie out of his sock.
What do we got here? 2nd and forever.
2nd in Yonkers.
Yeah, right about, right? Way out there in Yonkers.
Still, we'll get an update for the Lions and Outlaws games. I'm sure many are trying to find out what's going on with that. I know, championship repeat of 2019, so. Someone jumped early, and a flag's going to be thrown as Renz airs it out. Intercepted.
Yeah, that's coming back.
That's coming back. So, maybe throw that on the, what's that called? Honorable mention for play of the week. But that will not count as they'll probably come back.
Well, great play by the safety there, but Renz is just taking a shot, knowing that he's got a free play in front of him, catching the defensive lineman jumping offsides. I believe it was the outside linebacker on the blitz getting caught offsides and just taking a chance with this guy. I wish he'd have picked the single side receiver here on the left side, but with the double coverage there on the right, ended up getting picked off.
Yeah, by Edmund Lane too, so created his own defensive lane there.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10 right about for the Rebels.
A little under 4 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Tide trying to show a little bit of one safety high look here. You're going to have to try to start taking some risks. Hopefully they send some type of blitz package here unless they truly believe that their secondary can hold up one-on-one with these guys.
And timeout called by the Rebels. So not liking what they're seeing. They want to talk it over, and why not? They got time. And they got the scoreboard on their side. So
yeah, Tide switched up their look there, and I don't believe that Love was looking forward to that Love was anticipating them going to that look, and had to go ahead and get a timeout here, talk about it with his guys, and come out with a different game plan.
So as we're entering almost the halfway point of the AZCFL season, it's crazy to think that.
Right.
Some of the top dogs, Rebels, Lions, Phantoms are kind of not as hot as we thought they'd be, but
I still got the Phantom up there as one of the top
See?
dogs.
But
man.
that's-
they're one of those teams that in the regular season they'll take 1, 2, maybe 3 losses, but come playoff time, they're no different than anybody else. They'll be right in the thick of things. I can
Right.
guarantee you that.
but they can't keep taking these regular season losses.
Yes, that's
But-
true.
So, able to turn things around tonight. So they're 2-2 back in the mix. As Renz throws it
Great
through
catch,
the hands
great
of the
catch.
defender, Coach Iser kind of tried to alligator catch that one and was,
Yeah,
right
good
through his hands.
Good route out there on the 10 and out. Good pitch by Renz. Got his feet settled. Stepped up, delivered the ball with some accuracy on the receiver's outside shoulder. He was able to make a play and get and then get out of bounds. Great 10 and out there.
So enough for a first down. Enough to keep the clock moving and keep the Tide on their toes.
Yeah, Tide really need to, got their backs against the wall again here. They need to go ahead and suck it up here, see if they can get a stop. Really gut check time for them boys. They don't want to let the Rebels turn this into a rout. So a little bit of heart in question here for the Tide. I mean, got to play with some heart, got to play with some passion.
Right, and then talking about like surviving to see the next week, a big differential here is the points against. So
Yes.
you don't want to get the score ran up on you.
Yep.
As handoff now, he's making some room. Cuts the tackler, cuts the guy loose. Great block, and that's
Great
gonna be
play.
6.
Great play.
Endless intensity and would not go down. And I hate to say it, but it looks like the Tide kind of got lazy on defense, and the
Yeah.
Rebels would not stop running. Pressed on the gas pedal all the way through, got the block needed, and now, like you said, the route is on. We are now 33-2.
See, the thing about it
Rebels.
is if this is a tie ball game or a close ball game, tie defender probably makes that play there. But when the game's starting to get a little out of hand, guys tend to ease off the gas a bit. And really when it's a gut check time for your teams, really when you need to go hard there. And just looks like the guy didn't come down, wrap up, kind of try to arm tackle, which is never a good idea versus anybody that the Rebels have carrying the football. So just very unfortunate for the Tide right now. Not looking good.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you got to imagine they're tired. They've been on this side, this field, almost this whole quarter.
Oh, yes.
Snap, hold, kick. Good. And this special teams unit is just that, special. So 34-2. As I mentioned that because the Tide's only score came on a special teams
Yes.
play. So
Came on a blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown.
yeah, a blocked extra point. I don't
Extra
even know what
point,
they
sorry.
call it.
Extra
A blocked extra point return for an extra point.
Safety, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Safety. A forward safety because it's not in your own end zone. Like, I don't know. There was the situation where in the championship game, the first round of the playoffs in 19, Spartans and Lions. And the first play of the game was a kickoff, but nobody touched it. And that's a live ball past 10 yards, and the Spartans
Picked it up and
in the
ran
end
right
zone.
in,
Right.
yeah.
So it was like, how do you score that? A kickoff touchdown, a kickoff onside kick. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't return onside
kick return for but you can't
advance an onside
that's true.
kick. So I was like, we're making records here at the ACCFL, groundbreaking stuff.
Oh man.
So
Rebel special teams here look set to go. This is a point of the game that can get really dangerous here. So where the teams start to kind of tee off on one another. They understand they can kind of kick a dog while it's down. So look forward to a big special teams play here.
as gets past the first guy, runs into his own guy,
I don't know what that first offender was doing. He just kind of just ran right by and didn't even try to make the tackle.
and then he fell into his own man, who then tried to say, "Come with me, bro," and to no avail. So again, decent return by the Tide, trying to just make something happen. Plenty of football left, though. I'm not counting these guys out. 22 left in the third, but down 32 points.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just want some sort of positivity if you're the Tide. get a couple first downs, get the chains running a little bit. Not even so much in terms of getting back into the game to win the game. You just want to see your guys come out here and execute for a drive and put a score up. So look for the Tide to get back to their original game plan, maybe run the ball a little bit, air it out off of some play actions for Jake, and then see if they can actually get some points up here on the board with 2 minutes left here in the third quarter.
So I guess you never want to think negatively or kind of conservatively and kind of pack it up, but is there a time in this game where you pull Jake to avoid injury and survive to see another day? Because he is their moneymaker.
It's going to be hard to pull a guy like Jake out of the football game. One, with him on the field, you always feel like you have a chance at winning. So even if you're down 3, 4, 5 scores, you feel like all it takes is a few throws and he can make a play happen.
As that handoff to Gardner is not effective as he's brought back down for, I think, a yard for a loss.
But if it were me, if we're still down 5 scores, there's about 6 or 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I look to try to get somebody else some reps. You don't want to risk any injury. You want to make sure that that your go-to guy is ready for the rest of the season. And a lot of the fluke stuff tend to happen in these sorts of games at the end of the game. So you want to get one of those guys out of it. You want to get a guy like Jake or similar talent level out of the game.
I just, you hate to see him get hurt going for a touchdown, being down by 4,
Right, exactly.
So,
but Jake's also a competitor, man. He's going to go down fighting with his guys, so we'll see what happens.
Another handoff to Gardner. He's able to get past the first defender. Kind of swim move inside. Kind of a flag football play, kind of avoiding his waist.
Mm-hmm.
And drawing back to the sideline. Obviously doesn't have much room for negotiation as the score is one-sided. But, hey, you make a good play, you get back up. Talk that smoke. Why not?
Yeah, like I said, Tide just trying to go ahead and get back to their original game plan. Just put together a drive here that they can be proud of going into the fourth quarter or to start the fourth quarter.
As the clock is looking might expire into the fourth. And let's see if the Tide get a playoff before. Looks like they will. Stamp is...
Good pitch and catch.
Oh, and got to imagine Lane saw the end zone before he caught it. So
he had some daylight in front of him on that one. That was their touchdown throw right there.
Unfortunate drop, and with that, fourth, players put their hands up to signal the fourth quarter of the game here at the Arizona Cactus Football Game of the Week. Running Rebels running all over the Tide, 34-2, and definitely not the start. From the start of this game, we saw the Tide moving the ball down the field. The offense was getting the best of the Rebels' defense, and then just you blink once and they capitalize, and that's the difference between a stronger team is you can't make mistakes because they're going to capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. It's okay to see when they make mistakes and try to capitalize on those, but knowing that you got to have perfect housekeeping. What you're bringing to the field has to be flawless. I know, there's no perfection in football, but it's what you aim for. And unfortunately, that's why the Rebels are 3-0 and the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting it done in any kind of way. As a defensive coordinator, you want your guys to play hard, not give up first downs and force turnovers. They're doing that. As an offensive coordinator, you want to be able to move the ball, move the change, and then when you get a chance to take a shot at the end zone, capitalize and execute. They're doing that, and they've been doing it now for the fourth week. So as right now, if you look on the outside looking in, you would have to consider this team the clear favorites going into the playoffs. Them along with the Lions, of course. Got to be two of the top teams right there at the top of the race. If I could predict it right now, you're looking at Rebels Lions in the championship.
And I think they're set for Game of the Week at some point.
Yes, they are, which is going to be great.
I'm excited for that one. Hopefully they don't both rock yellow, man, because you'll be killing us over here. So hopefully, please, or they can't both rock red though either. So hey, somebody rock black, all right?
Well, if the Rebels were to use these, the white with the red trim, and then the Lions did the honey mustard look, the all yellow with the red,
the McDonald's All American.
Yeah, that one. It could work out. They just can't have similar color, similar uniforms in general. Like both of them wear dominant yellow uniforms.
In fact, like that first game of the playoffs when they played the Spartans and it was mustard on mustard as the snap is here. Over the head of Ryan Knight, and that is just another thing they can't afford. Ironically, we spoke about this before the game. We said if there's a fire on the ground, he looks to pick it up and throw it. There, he wasn't able to do any of that. So add insult to injury.
Yeah.
And the fourth quarter is starting off like this, like the second half started off, all Rebels.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate circumstance right now for the Tide. They got to find something to be prideful of at this point in the football game, and right now is a good chance for your defense to say, you know what, our back is against the wall. Let's get a stop here. Let's not let these guys score, and let's see what we can do. They really do need something to cheer about here. Rebels spreading them out again here, going 2 by 2. Got a tight end attached on the left.
Renz now. Fake handoff. Throws it over the middle, and it's caught.
Great ball.
6.
Great ball. Absolutely
Rebels.
Great ball by Renz there. Great slant route. Way to get the DB on his back foot. Caught him on his heel. Was able to break it to the slant. Renz puts the ball right on the money. Great ball by Renz.
So if you were asking for more points than last week's game, you got what you asked for.
Yeah, that's true.
As we are now 1 point away, extra point attempt away from 41-2. Current score 40-2. As obviously you never want to call it over till it's over, but like I was saying, maybe the Tide are now looking to next week.
Yeah, the funny thing is when you're talking to, like I said, talked to both coaches before the game started today, talking to Coach Austin, and he really felt he had a really good game plan coming to this game against these Rebels and was going to be able to make something happen. But
there's a fake kick, disrespectfully taken as they try to add more insult to injury, as it's no good. So moral victory for the Tide there as the score stays 40-2.
Yeah, and it's just like, Coach Austin really thought he had a good game plan. It's just everything, you could have draw up everything so perfectly sometime on film, but a lot of things change when you get on the field, man. When you really got to compensate for the speed that the Rebels have out here, for the quickness of the offensive line, the strength that they bring out here, the size of the offensive line. You can't simulate a lot of those things in practices, which seem to be issues for them today as they've coughed the ball up, they've made bad throws, bad reads. Quarterback keeps getting sacked over and over again, not getting much time, not able to run the ball. So now that they're out here in front of these guys, they're really realizing that, hey, we might have a long way to go, but they're not that far off. They were moving the ball very well this football game, and they can make some things happen as the season goes on.
So in your days playing football, man, throughout the levels you played, was there ever like a not a punishment, but like so to give you a background, I had a friend that played at Sedona, D3, or not D3, 3A. And he had 2 fumbles in the game as a running back. The rest of the week, coach made him carry a football, and he told every student, anybody that sees him, swat the ball, like try to get it out of him. And he was trying to teach them how to hold on to the ball. So he said he almost got in a fight with a science teacher because he's like, listen, bro, I get it. I will not fumble next game.
Well, we've definitely...
As Romeo drops the pass, or the return, but it picks it up, and looks like a horse collar tackle as he's shaking the defender who was deep in his shoulder pads. They got to call something.
What a violent tackle there by both the defenders for the Rebels, man. Really getting after it, trying to bring that ball carrier down. But, no, I mean, every coach kind of has his quirks about him. Our coach was a little different in high school and college and stuff like that. I never really had the coach who believed in, carrying the football when you fumbled or some of the more embarrassing punishments. But when it came to running, ladders, sprints, miles,
bear crawls,
yeah, a lot of those, a lot of up downs, which are your typical punishment for making mistakes. But surprisingly enough, coaches nowadays the game's kind of changing a lot, but coaches nowadays are a lot more forgiving when their playmakers make mistakes than back in the day. So I'm not really sure what the big punishments are now with some of the top programs around.
Back in my ASU days when I was broadcasting the team, I was friends with a lot of the players. Tyler Soka, starting guard. He one time he kept asking, we had a class together, kept asking me for paper, and I called him out as the handoff to Shalom is enough for a couple of yards. So nice effort by the Tide. He kept asking me for paper, and eventually I called him out. I said, hey, bro, what do you have in your bag? A football? Thinking he would say no. And he pulls out a football. And he said, this is Coach Todd Graham at the time. He said, Coach said I have a hard time finding the ball, so he wants me to keep one on me at all times.
That's hilarious. Oh, man. Poor guy.
Yeah. Funny ending to that class was one time the ASU had a Thursday night game on ESPN, and we had a test that Thursday, and the professor told Tyler, well, you have to decide what's more important, school or football. And he said football.
It's football. Hands down, football.
He said that's the only reason I'm at this school. It's for football.
Attaboy, Tyler.
So the handoff.
Face mask.
And
Yep,
Gardner is going to be dangerous, tackled down dangerously. And, you got to respect the Tide, not quitting.
Oh, yeah, they're playing hard. They are playing hard, especially the offensive. They're playing hard right now, running the football. They've had 2 really good run plays right now. Now that one's going to have another 15 yards tacked on with the face mask. And that's what you want to see. You want to see your boys come out here and fight, regardless of the score, battle. It's not about this game. It's not about the last 9 minutes of this game. It's about the future. We see ourselves as a playoff team. We want to make sure we're in position when playoffs come to maybe come out here and maybe upset a team like the Rebels, who have beaten us earlier in the season.
Have you ever been tackled by your face mask?
Yes.
What's that like, man?
Your neck gets twisted around. Hopefully not too bad. Some people believe that like the top part of your body is where you feel it. That's not where I felt it, at least. It was always my lower half. Like my cleats get stuck in the ground and my head gets thrown around and my whole hip. Yeah, those are not fun. We don't like those at all. That and the horse collar. Hate them.
Yeah, I can only imagine players with dreads, too, that get tackled by their hair. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time.
That's part of the uniform, right?
Yeah, the hair's part of the uniform. Ben, with the Lions, for years now, you just watch guys tackle him by his hair, and he looks at the ref, and the ref's like, it's part of the uniform.
Yeah, is there a way to tuck your hair in the pads?
Or? Yeah, you can, but throughout running, the pads going up and down,
and they come out.
It's inevitable that your hair just gets to flying around out there.
You ever see, like, DeAndre Hopkins, man? That guy has to wear his hair down. Otherwise, like, he's very stylish with it. I love it, bro. He's got it up in a bun. He's got, like,
right.
It's like a bouquet of flowers. Like, he's killing it. So, but then when he rocks and he's playing, he's got, like, all dreads, and it's all down.
Yeah, and to all the AZ CFL guys and players out there, let this be a lesson to you. Do not come out here on Game of the Week and let it be a blowout, so we got to start talking about hair.
You know what I'm saying?
Please, we don't want to talk about guys with their hairs and man buns and holding them down. Nothing. We want to continue talking about the football game.
Yeah.
Come out here and don't get embarrassed.
So, with that being said, I mean, we say we got the best drip in the CFL. The white on white with the yellow.
Good run.
As Gardner's tripped up right at the C for midfield, and
that's like the third or fourth play that Gardner now has just one guy to beat and to turn it into a potential touchdown run, and that one defender just keeps on being able to bring him down there in the hole. If he makes that one guy miss, he's gone. There's nobody there. He's got to stick his foot in the dirt and try to make a guy miss here.
What goes on with a player that doesn't have like the top end speed, that kind of just they can't hit that second gear, and they're like, bro, I want to score this 6, but I don't think it's happening.
You hope he's got tree trunks for legs and tough upper body, so he just runs people over. No juking, no nothing. Straight north and south for that guy.
I feel you. So Jake's still in this game as we enter the 7-minute mark of the fourth. Backpedaling. Throws in the flat. Intercepted.
What a play. Sniffs out the screenplay. What a play.
Big man with the pick. That is number 50 on the Rebels, who came up with a big play earlier and solidifying it. Alex Williams.
Big Alex down there making plays.
As they say on Jeopardy, I'll take 1,000. Alex,
Yeah.
He said, I'll take a pick, Alex.
One thing I can guarantee is if you're friends with Alex on social media, you will see that play over and over again throughout the next couple of weeks.
Alex, send it to me for play of the week. For AZ CFL Incel,
Yes.
we have a new segment where we break down play of the week. I'm going to jump on Red Zone one time only. Say, hey, I know you guys like to talk that talk. Send me your clips. We're going to have the league players vote for game of the week, and then we're going to break it down on Incel.
That was a real good idea. That's really cool.
Appreciate that.
I'm going to make fun of him, tell him he should have scored, though. Catch that thing in the end zone, though.
Hey, but that's why, if you put up, you have enough confidence to say this is the play of the week, well, then we have the respect to break it down and say, nah.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is a great guy, though, man. I've known Alex now for almost double-digit years. Got a chance to coach him, play with him. Great guy, great personality. Just as mean as he is on the football field in the trenches is as nice as he is in real life and in person, man. Outstanding guy, outstanding man.
For sure. So now Ren's back on the field. Or he's not back on the field. So I guess they heard us talking about staying healthy and not surviving for next week. As the quarterback cuts it outside, now back inside. That looks to be I believe, number 16. Or no, number 10 on the Rebels. So that is, ironically, Lorenzo. So we have Lorenz as the starting quarterback, and the backup quarterback is Lorenzo. So I don't make this stuff up, folks. You know. So they keep it in the family with the Rebels. It's the Loves, it's the Lorenzos, the Lorenz.
Renzos, and the third string quarterback is Rensington.
Man. So
4:45 left in the game here. Rebels, again, marching down. Got a second and long situation here. 2-by-2 set. Tied, again, in a situation where they need to stop. Let's see what they can do.
Gotta love to see most of their starters still out there, giving it their all. As handoff to Ian. He's bouldering his way down the middle.
So Ian doesn't look like a big guy, man, but if you ever see him in person, he is stacked.
Bro, you dap him up, it's like a brick wall.
Yes.
Like, hey, by all means, I keep in the gym. I try to keep working out, but nah, I need to lift with my man Ian Robinson.
Oh yeah, Ian's definitely no stranger to the gym, man, and it shows when he runs the football and dragging 2 or 3 defenders like you just seen right there. Looks like we got a player down on the field here for the Tide. One of the guys who was in there on that tackle.
Slow to get
Robinson.
Up. I mean, all joking aside, we just got done. He's a brick wall. You know, it's dangerous to tackle him. But so hopefully this player's all right.
Maybe just a stinger here. Got to try to shoulder tackle a bit here, and might just ended up with like a dead arm or something of that sort. Watching him walk off the field here now, looks like he is okay. A little bit of pain, but looks like he'll be okay.
That's 54 on the Tide.
With 4:10 left here, the Rebels are looking to really just drive the nail home right now. They're not a team to let off the gas. If they can score 100 points, they're going to score 100 points. That's just how it is. You could ask Love. His mission before every game is to keep that team to a donut and put up 100. That's his mission. So if they can keep scoring, they're going to try to keep scoring. I look for them to continue to execute now. Just because they got a backup quarterback in does not mean they're going to let up off the gas. So with what I believe to be 3rd and short, I think he'll run the ball here. They pick up the first down. They'll try to keep going, get back in the end zone.
Yeah, and that was David Aldama, who was the injured player, back up.
Bubble screen here to the left. Great
Robinson.
block by the outside receiver.
Bumps into his own guy. Has to figure something out and gets past the sticks for a first down. So the clock continuing to run here. And the Rebels continuing to move the sticks. And, I know you said he wants to put up 100, so I imagine this drive is ideally going to end up in the end zone. But if you just, keep it 5 yards here, 6 yards there, we are on our way to week 5 of the AZCFL.
Definitely.
I want to thank everybody that made this week possible, trainers, coaches, players, fans, family, media. Shouts to Donovan,
another
producer.
handoff, big gash up the middle.
And did they score that?
13-yard gain there.
No, and it's just shy. So they're toying with adding to this score and grinding the clock down as we are getting close to the 2-minute warning.
Yes.
Full slate of football today. Thanks for all the teams that put on a show, put on a performance. And thanks for everybody that make this league possible.
Yes, definitely. 2-by-2 look here. Look for another inside zone here by the Rebels. Ty should be expecting the inside zone here. So they've been getting gashed with all game long. Yep, here it comes.
And it looks like
He's
may
in the
be
end zone. Another touchdown for the Rebels.
And I thought he was shy, but no, they're going to score it. So with that being said, it's now 46-2, extra point underway. And they faked it last time, so let's see if they go for it this time. As we're now in the 2-minute warning, but...
See, it's always when you're on this side of the blowout, where you're the team that's just running it up, and you're getting scores in. I always wonder, do you really want to go? I mean, if you're already scoring the ball and you're already executing well, go for 2. I know you're up by a thought, but it's about executing. I know some people might think of it as a shot, but I want my team to continue to execute well.
And with that, fire on the ground, pass, and it's complete, wrestled around. Let's see. They got a
joint possession
game of steal of bacon, and it's incomplete. So No good. The score will remain 46-2. And with a little over a minute left, the fat lady has not sung yet, but she's preparing.
Oh, she's warming up. She got her Listerine. She's gargling. She spit the Listerine out a second ago. She's got the salt that she's working in now. She's rehearsing her lines. She's ready to go.
You know, she might be walking on the field any second.
She's got her perfume on. She's ready to rock and roll. Her wig is set. She's ready to go.
57 as the clock continues to run. The Rebels did not disappoint. They came out. If you extrapolated the first 5 minutes of this game, it's all tied, right?
All tied. Yeah,
all tied.
Except for the turnover.
I think that was like 4 minutes and 59 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's why they play the full 4 quarters, man, because the strong teams finish it out, and that's what it is, man. So valiant effort by the Tide, but they knew kind of, you know, the late Denny Green. They were who they thought we were, you know, and they're gonna enter week 5, you know, 1 and 2, and they're going to hit the film, as Coach Austin's got, you know, 9,000 different media streams and has their team up on, you know, Issue TV, on Roku channel, you know, here on the league, they're on the website. And with that being said, the zeros across the board as we are complete here at the AZCFL Game of the Week. 46-2 as the Rebels started slow, but then didn't let up the rest of the game.
Really turned it on. The Rebels really show that they are a complete football team, getting it done on the special teams now with the return, getting it done on the defensive end, putting points up offensively. Definitely a jack of all trades. It's a really strong football team now here in the middle of the season, looking to end this season strong, heading into the playoffs as one of the top 2 teams in the state.
So with that being said, I mean, obviously the Tide started off the first half much stronger than the scoreboard shows, but unfortunately it was all Rebels, and they're undefeated for a reason, 4-0, and very impressive point differential tonight. So that's going to help them not only with the W, the letters are helping them, but the numbers are helping them as well.
Definitely.
Capping off week 4 of the AZCFL. Again, we had a full slate of football today. The Thunder take care of the Demons 20-0. The Owls 46-6 over the Titans. The Phantoms shut out the Bucks 13-0. The Reapers causing havoc on the Tigers 57-0. The Silverbacks played it in gold 14-8 as they're 4-0.
I tell you about them Silverbacks, man. I've been talking about them Silverbacks now for a couple of weeks. A really strong team, a lot better than a lot anticipated. They have hit in this league rolling, starting off 4-0 now.
And the Headhunters 30 to the Scorpions 0, and then the Outlaws and Lions don't have a score on them yet. I believe that game is still going. If not, it's near end. We will get that up for you guys at some point in time, and we hope that was a good game as the players meet at midfield to show the sportsmanship and ceremonial handshakes and congratulate everybody on a hard-fought victory that is for the Rebels. But JR, what do you see going into next week, man? Obviously, some team is able to continue the momentum, some team is licking their wounds, but is this an identity crisis for the Tide or more of a reminder?
No, I think it's more of a reminder. I think the Tide know who they are. I think this is a reminder of stick to it. Just continue to be who you are. Continue to come out here. Take no one for granted. Yes, in a sense, I guess you were the underdogs coming to this game, but you believe coming in here you could have really gotten the job done. Sometimes the score lies in a sense. Yes, this was a blowout in a sense, but if you really look at the grand scheme, especially the first half of this game, the Tide were battling right there with the Rebels. Couple self-inflicted plays is what cost this team the ball game early, and I believe if a couple of those plays going differently, we got a different ball game here. And I think the coaching staff's going to take that back, sit their guys down, and say, "Hey, here's what we did great. Here's what we did bad. Let's look at what we did bad. Let's continue doing what we do great." And I think the Tide to close this season will finish it really strong.
Definitely. And then as for Jake and his offensive line, obviously they want to maybe hit the restaurant this week or get on the same page, figure out kind of what went wrong.
He might want to ask them if they even like him. Like he might want to sit them down and say, "Hey, do you like me, guys? Is there something I can do? Do you like steak?" Yeah. He might want to sit those guys down and have a real heart-to-heart because The play today was not very good from the offensive line. I'm sure that's one of the talking points that the offensive coordinator is going to have this week. They, especially off that left side edge, they weren't able to do anything to help protect them. And I think going forward, if they want to be a successful football team, regardless of how good Jake is and can be, they've got to figure out a way to protect the guy. And I think that's going to be how they finish the season, figuring out a way to protect Jake, or at least put him in situations where he can be a little bit more effective.
Definitely, and make sure to stay tuned next week as we have another game of the week under the lights here at Cortez High School. Make sure to stay tuned throughout the week for weekly content, AZCFL Intel, every Thursday, every Friday now, Kamish's Picks. I was able to catch that last night. I don't know how true his predictions held up. Yeah. I know I was wrong about some of my picks. I was way off with my prediction tonight. I said 2 scores. I was off by about 6.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this either.
So, that's why we call the games. Yeah. We're not psychics. We're broadcasters. Yep. But for, week 4 of the AZCFL Game of the Week CFL season, we're heading towards week 5, and now we're entering that, that confidence territory on like, hey, room for error has been reduced. Yep. We're heading towards maybe a postseason push, and now we'll find out who these real teams are. And one team is going to look in the mirror and say, let's keep this up, and then another team's looking in the mirror and say, who are we, right? Yep. So with that's the beauty of football. They live to see another week, and they live to see another play. As for your broadcasters, Jesse Burke and J.R. Warner, we thank you for tuning in, and make sure to catch us next week. To our sound guy, Donovan, and producer, appreciate you for making this possible. Lead Commissioner Matt Archer, thank you for everything. Cortez High School, thanks for hosting us. We'll make sure to clean up. And as for AZCFL Game of the Week, we are signing off.